Right, so here we are again, Exehaven Harbour, next episode. So what I'm going to do is build some platforms, and I'm using the Metcalfe kit. The reason I've done that, I was thinking about making them myself, and I have tried in the past and they've worked out really quite well, but with this it's a lot easier. Everything is kind of pre-cut. The platform sides are all pre-cut. I actually like the red brick especially, and I have used it on one that I've made in the past, but when you weather that up and put a load of black sooty stuff down the side, I think it actually looks the part. It really does look okay, so we've gone for that. I'm not overly convinced about the tarmac platform top, but I'm going to paint that. So we'll get that all secured down on the platform, so hopefully it doesn't curl up when I paint it, and we'll take it from there. So the next see me is when I've got a platform together. So here I go. Okay, so you join me now, and I'm finishing up doing the detailing of the cottages, and we've got the sort of the greystone Metcalfe cottage, which I've covered, done a different roof. I've done everything, and now what I'm doing, something very fiddly indeed, I've cut out, let me see if I can get that in there, I've cut out these 2mm wide strips of photocopy paper, and when I painted the roof grey, I had already pre-cut these, and I painted these up as well, and I'm actually using these for, I think I'll use this little knife as a pointer, as for the flashing, so it'll cover up any little slots, and I don't think you can even pick it up on the camera, but it's kind of been a bit of a labour of love, because I was going to leave it because you know, it'd take me so long to do this, but what I decided to do in the end is just carry on, because actually I do quite enjoy it. Now what I'm looking for is the next stage of this is on the chimneys. I've made these little capping stones for the top. Obviously that'll be put on there a bit better than that. And also what I've done is I've got some 2mm, I think you can just about see that in the camera, 2mm styrene, well, what would you call it, rod. And what I'm going to do, I've painted that up in like a terracotta colour, and now I'm going to get my little chopping device, and we're going to chop these down into chimney pots, and go from there. So that's where I'm at with that. I've done exactly the same for the other cottage. I wonder if I can bring this into view. Let's move that one out of the way, and we'll get that one in, just like that. Is that in there? Yeah. So again, done the flushing. It's taken some time. The capping stones, they are actually the Metcalfe capping stones, which I actually find quite good, but I have painted them the same colour as I've painted the flashing. So we've done that. The other thing that I've done, a little bit of detail, is the concrete steps. I've done that on the grey stone one as well, but we've made that like a grey stone step, and that will match up with the pieces that go on the top of the chimney stacks. So it all sort of kind of comes together. The capping stones on the brownstone cottage, if you like, I've just done that the same as the steps there, just giving it a concrete colour. So all it remains for me to do now is actually cut the chimney pots. And what I do is, every now and again, I've run short recently, or they've tipped out of the little box that I had them in, so I can't find the chimney pots, but I do make up a batch of them, and that will probably make quite a good view, because I'll probably make them 2 foot high, and so 4mm out of that strip will probably get a good 20 to 30 chimney pot. So that's what we're going to do. Right, so you join me now in the process of making the chimney pots. So we've got our styrene, or our painted styrene column as such, and I've just set up, although my fingers are in the way, I've set up a stopper on the chopper, Northwest Short Line chopper this is called, and all I'm doing is just cutting down and taking a chimney pot out. So just thought you might like to see that process, and as you may see, I've got a few gathering in there now. When I actually stick these on, I'll give them a dab of black on the top, so they look a little bit more authentic. But yeah, I've got plenty in there now. There's plenty of this to go, so I'll be back to you later. Right, okay, so I think that's just about it. I'm going to call them done for now. So I've added the chimney pots that I cut out, got them as straight as I can. Not an easy task. Put the roof cappings on. I've given the roof a bit of a weathering on this one. It doesn't really need it on this one too much, but it's not to say at a later date that I'm not going to perhaps put a little bit of dusty stuff on there just to make it look a little bit more realistic, I guess. But I'll tell you what, from a distance these look pretty good. And if I'm really honest, they don't look too bad from close up as well. But the finishing off has taken a little while, but personally I think it's been worth it. And you know, like I said earlier, I do actually quite enjoy doing that, all the finishing bits and pieces, even though they are very fiddly and time consuming. So I'll be back to you in the next segment, and I'll speak to you then. Right, okay, so in many respects there hasn't been a lot done in here. As you would have just seen, I've been working on the cottages and bits and pieces just to see what I could do with them. It's been difficult to get time in the cabin, you know, it's still kind of summer season really, and we're just back from our holiday. Other things to be done, but I have been working. And there are things that I have been doing, and I've been working on building the platforms for the Exehaven Harbour station. And silly things like I've had to make loads and loads of these, which is the brick platform sides. And when you cut them out of the kit, if anybody, I'm sure plenty of you have built these before, the Metcalfe station kits, these parts you have to fold back and glue to make wall double thickness, which I've done, but when you've got 36 I think of them, it takes ages. And I've been doing that over the past few days. So the platform tops have been cut out, and again with Metcalfe I'm kind of torn between the what's supposedly tarmac and what's not. So I kind of like it and I kind of don't, and I'm actually going to paint over it, to be honest. I'm going to make it all grey, a little bit like the platforms on the warehouse there, and I just like the look of that better, and once I've finished it all off with a platform engine, that'll look good. So like I say, that was 36 of those done, and that was one heck of a job. A little bit boring, but what I want to do now is introduce you to the Exehaven Harbour station. Now I think I might have alluded in a previous episode that I was buying a kit, and it wasn't a UK kit. I bought a Kibri kit, which I think was going to look rather lovely for Exehaven Harbour station once it's been anglicised and painted and finished and so on and so forth. So this is what we've got. This here is actually Bahnhof Osterburgen. It's a Kibri kit. I can't remember what it cost me now. It cost me something like because I bought this from a German shop called Model Barn Lippy. Believe it or not, it was cheaper to buy it there, including the postage, than it was to get it from the UK. I think the kit itself cost me about £35 to £40, and the postage was about £8. And I looked around for stores in the UK, and those that had it were charging about, getting on for £60 for this kit. So in the end, I got it from Germany. It was readily available as well, and it came within a week. So it's a project that I'm looking forward to doing, and this will sit on the side of the main station. And what I'm hoping also to do is possibly, and don't hold me to this, but I may actually build a canopy. So we'll see how that goes. So that's where we're at with that, and I think that's going to be a fantastic addition to the layout. I think once I've put some UK style canopies on the front here, and put the Exehaven Harbour station boards up, I think it's going to look pretty good. So it has got a sort of a grand UK station look to it as it is. So yeah, really pleased with that, and looking forward to getting cracking on that. But I've got to get a few other little bits before I can start doing that, so bear with me. But you can follow the progress of that over the next probably couple of months, I reckon, by the time I get going on it. So that's where we're at with that, and that is kind of the latest update. I think I may do a little bit more before I get this video out for Friday, but if I don't, I apologise, because I'm running out of time rapidly. I've got to take Mrs. Exehaven out this afternoon. I'm out tomorrow, and then it'll be Friday, so there's a good chance that it won't be much more done. But that's where we're at. Oh, one other thing. Now, after a conversation with Mark Island from Piddle in the Marsh, and he was worried about how I was going to get the curves around there, and to be fair, so was I. And he said to me, he said, well, why don't you just shorten the lengths of your trains? I think Mark suggested, and I may be wrong here, Mark, that he said down to 6 coaches. Well, I was running 8 and I've cut it down to 7. And what this actually does, let's get this out of the way. That means I can cut the station platform length off here. Now that gives me much more of a good sweep round there, and it was a brilliant suggestion, Mark. And only taking one carriage off, I don't think it detracts from the sort of the idea of it being a full length train. So that's where we're at with that. More work obviously to be done there, but I'm concentrating most of my energy, I think, on the station area, because this is the starting point. And I think I'm going to get the track laid down so that I can actually get the right gaps for the platforms, and I'm going to work my way down there, and I'm going to get all of this main sort of junction in before we cross over the estuary down there, and we'll take that from there. Okay, right, so to finally wrap this video up for this week, it's kind of like let's call it the after holiday update, and really starting to get going back at the layout again. Although having said that, away again in a week or two's time on a golf holiday to Spain, so it will be really starting to kick off after that. But this is my next little project for the evenings. Again, lovely kit, but it's going to get the treatment that I've just been given the cottages, and we're going to cover this in probably brown brick and see how that comes out. So thanks ever so much for watching, everybody. You know, thanks. I've had a few more new subscribers come on board, which is lovely, so thanks for joining me. And really, if you like what you see, like and subscribe. And of course, thanks to Mark Island for taking the time out to phone me and explain what his thoughts were about perhaps sort of relieving some of the angles and things that I needed to get those curves round on the. Okay, so I'll see you in the next episode. Thanks ever so much, everybody. Cheers.